The Something for the Weekend team are having trouble getting together to record their normal podcasts, but individually, they have still been busy recording. Fiona caught up with Berkholden-based psychologist Marion Elkin Greener to find out how the pandemic had affected our mental health and what can be done to help. Marion is best known for her Oban FM slot Mental Health Musings, which began in December 2019. Following a break during lockdown, Marion is back on our airwaves with a new day and some new ideas. As well as the radio show, the mother of three talks about plans for podcasts, reaching out through social media, setting up of her own business, and getting rid of the stigma surrounding mental health issues in both adults and children, once and for all.
So, I've met up today with Marion Elkin Greener, who I bumped into, it'd be 2 years ago now, Marion, thanks so.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you were just starting up your Oban FM programme, Mental Health Musings.
I was.
How was that going?
Really well, and then obviously COVID came along, changed things a bit. For a little while I was doing stuff from home and sending it into the station, and then had a bit of a break there, just with different things going on personally, etc., and with the pandemic too. And that's me. I'm coming back now to start the show again. I'm really excited. So I'll be a different day. I'll not be on Tuesdays anymore. We'll be on Sundays, starting at 3 o'clock till 5. Yeah, so it's 3 Sundays a month. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I did like, as I said to you before, we got a couple of programmes and really interesting and really beneficial. So,
yeah.
What's your plan for this time? Is it going to be changing much? Or?
No, probably not changing much. I mean, obviously, I've got such a love of music myself. I'll continue to weave music throughout the programme, but it's just a matter of trying to get the message across of mental health education, mental health wellness, and just wellness overall, what we can do to keep ourselves well. Obviously, just coming out of this pandemic now, talking a lot about how that has affected people, and what you can do to help yourself with regards to just more support for yourself, or what's out there. I like to get out there what is out there for people to utilise, even if it's on the internet, etc., for self-care, to help you with your mental health. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
So, as well as the radio programme you just mentioned there's plenty out there on the internet. You yourself, you're going to be doing podcasting, social media.
Yeah, I'm I've had for a little while now. I've had Mental Health Musings, which is on Facebook, and then I'm also on Instagram as well. It's actually called, the name's changed recently a little bit. It's Mental Health Musings by Mer, both on Facebook and Instagram. So, and a lot of times I post on there resources that are out there for people, especially on the internet, like your breathingspace.scot and your mind.org.uk, big mental health websites that are really useful for people and they can get additional support. And then on top of that is the podcast. I'm very excited. I'm developing a podcast at the moment, and I'm working on that will it'll accompany the radio show. It'll be very similar format to the radio show, and I hope to have that out sometime, probably looking at in the autumn time.
Well, that'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Tell us a wee bit about your background, Marion.
Yeah, well, I'm going to age myself here. I started in the mental health and addiction field nearly 25 years ago. Trained and educated in the United States, and in Chicago specifically. And I'm a licensed psychologist in mental health, as well as a license in addiction and trauma. So huge passion, just wanting to help others. But also, I think over the years for me, a huge passion in trying to take away the stigma of mental health, talking about it. So the way I look at it and what I really want to get across is that I want people to talk about mental health and their wellness the same as they would talk about their physical health. So, why should it be any different? If you've got cancer or diabetes, etc., I want people to feel comfortable enough to talk about their mental health just the same as they might talk about a physical ailment that they have. And it's getting better. It's getting better, but it's not always been like that.
So do people, when you're doing your podcast and your radio, do people get a chance to interact with you? Do you...
Not so far. Yes, the interaction generally comes from private messaging that I get. Either I'll ask people about sending me a topic or a question. One of the most fun radio shows that I done was Ask a Therapist Anything, and I collated all the questions that came in. I had such a great response from people. So yeah, that's mostly the interaction. I don't tend to take phone calls while I'm on the air, but it's something that I'm looking into. But what I do tend to do is I'll have guests come in to talk about their mental health history, or how mental health has affected them, or what they do for wellness, etc. And I find that people respond really, positively to that as well, to find out, like, we've all struggled with our mental health at some point or other, and are just trying to keep ourselves well.
That's right, and especially, like you've already said, coming out of the pandemic, people are struggling in all different kinds of manners, and it's brought on different sets of problems for different people. So
yeah, many people I think feel I think that a lot of people have felt isolated as a result of the pandemic, angry, obviously in no fault of their own. It's been very hard to get an appointment with with your doctor, or if it might take a while. It was very hard for people to see specialists, etc. So there's a lot of people, they feel fearful. They're worried about what it will look like now in the world, going around with this with COVID, and not being able to kind of see it or touch it, and I think that's strange to a lot of people. We hear about this horrible virus, but we can't see it.
No.
So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of people really, I know we're going to see a lot of people really struggling with what that looks like now, and how that's affected their mental health. Especially it's very isolating, I think, for a lot of people when they were in lockdown.
But there is help out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's totally help out there, and it might not be for everybody. I'm not saying it might be going to see a therapist or a counsellor. Something I like to get across is self-help. And something I do in the podcast and the radio show is just talking about what's online for you to take a look at, what resources are out there for you within your community, as well as if you're not comfortable perhaps maybe going to something within your community, but then you can utilise a lot of these websites that are online that have amazing resources, like I mentioned earlier, the breathingspace.scot and the mind.org. They're great websites for information about mental health and wellness.
Great, yeah. And of course, all your resources at the moment and your platforms are free, and anybody can go in and listen to them. But
yeah, you
are hoping to build yourself up and make a business.
I am. I've finally taken the jump. My partner my husband has been asking me for 6 years now to start a business. I was a small business owner in America for over 10 years. I had my own private practice. This is a little bit different, Fiona. What I'm hoping to do is to take mental health musings to the next level, and what I mean by that is obviously we've got the radio show, but I'm in the midst of creating this podcast that we're hoping will be very similar to the radio show. But not only that, I'm really excited. I'm working with a branding company in Glasgow called Smallfish Co. And I'm working with them to create a business that's all about going out to the community, not just locally, but hopefully Scotland-wide eventually, that will be all about offering bespoke group work services to help people understand mental health, to reduce the stigma towards mental health, and then also to just your wellness overall. And I'm hoping to work with both kids, with children as well as adults. So I'm excited. It's very new, and we're at the beginning stages, but I'm hoping in the next couple of years we'll get something off the ground.
Great. And you mentioned before there's doggy therapy coming in there as well, isn't there?
Yes, I'm excited about this too. Very, very excited about it all. It feels kind of real now that we've started. Yes, I have. I'm on a waiting list to get a Labradoodle puppy, who I will take through animal assisted therapy training. Once we get him, we're wanting a standard boy, a big boy, and he'll very much be a part of mental health musings, and we've got some really exciting kind of adventures to go with the doggy here, but mostly I'm hoping to utilise him within my programme that I'm creating, and that I'm going out into the community, and he's going to help me with helping kids and adults understand mental health better. Animals, it's proven research, animals do really well with helping people with their mental health.
It's great. I'm excited just thinking about it. I'm sure we'll all get to meet him when he comes along.
Well, what I'm hoping to do is I'll involve him in my journey, so he'll very much be part of the social media. Very much he'll be part of the adventure with us all. So once we get word that we can get him, etc., and pick him up, and I'll be putting all that up on social media. And as I create the program and involve him in the business, I'll be putting that up on the social media as well. So we'll watch his journey as well as mine.
Can't wait. and you're doing all this, Marion, and you yourself, you're a mother.
Yeah.
Working mother.
Yes, I'm trying to juggle it all and what that looks like as well, and that's really interesting to me. I'm a mum of 4-year-old twins, and then I've got a almost 8-year-old wee boy as well, so 3 boys, and very lively boys, but and in some way I'd like to involve them in the business as well at some point. Not sure what that'll look like, but maybe even working with the dog or something like that, and bringing them out to the groups too. But yeah, it's kind of that idea of creating, because obviously this is part of their future as well, so and it's important to me that my boys have a good understanding of their mental health and have a good understanding of their emotions, and it's okay to have all different emotions and what that looks like, and to be comfortable with that.
What age would you say you start broaching that with them?
Oh gosh, well, I mean, I know I can't speak for everybody, but I know for me, Fiona, I've probably been talking about their emotions and how they cope with stuff since they were very little. I know my twins right now, I'm talking more and more about it. Example would be is just when they get upset, etc., like just sitting with them and letting them be upset, but then saying, okay, some deep breathing. My 7-year-old will say to his brothers, you just got to deep breathe like mummy says, or like just listen to your chest, to your breathing, just to help calm you down. I think it's whenever you're comfortable and that they can understand. Probably round about now, with the twins, they're nearly 4 tomorrow, and Cameron certainly has a good understanding of it too. I think what we're really lacking in the school systems in the UK in general is that is kids having an idea of what their mental health means to them and what it is and what emotions are, and it's not really talked about. People don't talk about it, and that just seems crazy to me that we talk about physical health and wellness and how you should eat healthy, etc., but we don't really the schools don't really talk about or have something in there, and that's what I would like to get involved, is being able to go into our local schools from primary upwards and talk about mental health in a very honest, open way.
Yeah, because it is, in life in general, it is being spoken about more. You've got your sports people that are coming out now, and your royals,
yes,
that are affected by mental health issues. So yes, kids will be aware of it. So it's just making them.
Yeah. It's, and I don't want to seem as if I'm not giving kids credit, because I actually think kids are, they've got a very good idea of mental health in certain ways, but I think what it is that just having an idea of that it's okay to have different emotions, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be upset, sad, lost, and what does that look like and how do I cope with that? And that's where I'm hoping that it comes in, where I can work with the dog and work with creating these groups of wellness and talking freely about your mental health, but not having people judge you as a result of that. But to be honest with you, the generations that are coming up now are probably more open about it in a lot of ways than even when I was a child 20 years ago. I'm 30 years ago. So it's a lot different now. It is different. The stigma is not as bad as it was, but it's still there.
Yeah. And even, I mean, I've got 10 years on you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, and I can never remember when I was younger my parents actually asking me how I felt about something.
No.
And that's no bad reflection on them. That's
no.
just the age
it's
and
just
time we were
generational. Very much so. And we were the same. I don't ever remember my mum saying to me, take a deep breath. You know what I mean? Or calm down and just focus on your breathing. Of course, that didn't happen then, but it doesn't mean it can't happen now. And to me, that's just small coping skills that can help any child. And I do see my 7-year-old do that. I'll see him saying, like, I'm just going to focus on my breathing for a minute. And I know it maybe sounds a bit cheesy, but in actual fact, it's a great coping skill. It's free, and any of us can use it, from a small child up to an adult. To help you when you're feeling anxious or upset, and I think anything that can make you feel better, that's free, is not a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely right. And there's not a lot you can do now that is free. So
no, exactly. Yeah,
that's good. Do you feel like you know, by bringing all these ideas in from an early age, that maybe in the future that'll help prevent a lot of problems in adult life?
Yeah, I think I've always believed in prevention's key, and education is key. It's always stunned me and stumped me that we don't have some sort of mental health training or classes for our kids at a very young age. I really feel like, as we were discussing earlier, there should be some sort of, even if it's just a presentation that's done once a month for school age, about prevention, about what mental health looks like. This is the kind of thing that I'm creating at the moment, working on at the moment with to take out on the road, and hopefully work within the community here, not just in Oban, but to take it out Scotland wide as well, and something that I'm just very passionate about. But I absolutely think that the more you have knowledge about your mental health, and that it's okay to not be okay. We hear that an awful lot. It's a big saying out there, and I think this idea that we're always happy is rubbish. It's a load of rubbish. Yeah. We're not always happy. Life is not always easy, and I think that young kids it was good for them to understand that you will have down days and bad days, and how you cope with them, and there is coping mechanisms for you, and that's part of what I want to do with the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is a kind of British thing, a stiff upper lip thing, and when people ask you how are you, you're keyed in to automatically respond, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. And maybe you're not. I know I've not been good, and
me too.
Say to people,
yeah,
great, fine.
Well, I know, and that's that thing where you don't want to turn something into a therapy session and say to somebody, well, actually, I'm not very well, or I'm not feeling good. But I know myself, I've done it too, where I just go, I'm fine, but in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not really fine. So I think it's been a bit more honest about that, honest with each other, and I think that honesty coming from, I also teach, Fiona, I teach new counsellors, and one of the things I tell my students is you as a professional, if you start to be more honest with your clients that you struggle as well as they do too, I think if people feel better when they see that every day that you struggle as well. That's okay. Just because I'm a licensed psychologist doesn't mean that I don't have my bad days. I do a lot, but it's just how I cope with it. Yeah. And for me, that can be different things, like walking, being out in nature, watching my favourite TV shows, you know what I mean, taking a hot shower, being with my dogs. I've got 2 dogs, they bring a lot of peacefulness to me, and spending time with my kids when they're not being wild. But you know what I mean? So there's just little things, and that's what I want to get across to people. It doesn't mean you have to go spend money to feel mentally better. We're surrounded by stuff that we can utilise as free. And that's what I'm hoping a lot of my, what I'm creating with the programme I'm creating to take out to the community is just what's out there for you, that's at your fingertips, that you don't have to spend any money on. That's the key,
not having to spend any money.
Exactly.
It's, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll look forward to all that, and especially your radio show that's going to be on Sundays from now on.
Sunday, 3 Sundays a month. I'm on, and the only reason I'm not the 4 is I teach. So I teach once a month. And it's on a Sunday, so that's why I'm not there. But every Sunday 3 o'clock. 3 to 5, and I'd love people to come and join in, and if they've got any ideas they can certainly reach me on my social media.
Great stuff. I'll definitely be listening into that.
Brilliant.
And listening out for the podcasts as well.
Thank you. Thanks,
no
Fiona.
No problem. Okay. Thanks.
We love to hear your feedback on the podcasts, so why not drop us a line? Something for the weekend at obantimes.co.uk, or comment on our Instagram or Facebook pages. If you fancy getting involved with the programme or have some original music to share, please get in touch. But that's all for this week. There'll be another new podcast, same time, same place next week. And of course, you can listen to some of our earlier podcasts at www.obantimes.co.uk/podcasts.